Hello pawb, croeso nôl I WelshBloke Walking. Welcome back to WelshBloke Walking. Well, after what seems like a month of obnoxious weather, we finally got a half-decent day. So, amser gwneud video, time to make a video. But where to go? Well, Susan, a friend of mine, said, have you ever been to Castell Deganwy? I said, I'll be honest with you, Sue, I didn't know Deganwy had a castle. Well, there's not much there now, she said, but the view from the top is amazing. Anhygoel. Well, that's enough for me. So today we are going up Castell Deganwy. Are you coming? Ti'n barod? You ready? I'm starting here on the main street of Deganwy, a North Wales town on the Conwy estuary. Now I know the castle is on a hill, and as there is only one main hill in Deganwy, that's where I'm heading. You can't say I don't plan these things meticulously. I've noticed some steps across the street that seem to go in the general direction of the hill. So let's see if they do. Well, I'm clearly on the right track, as there is the hill ahead of me. Ah, a public footpath sign pointing at the hill. I think we've cracked it. And there it is. Deganwy's name comes from the ancient Welsh tribe that used to inhabit this area, a large area that was known in those days as the Kingdom of Gwynedd. The tribe was known to the English as the Decantau, or in Welsh, the Dugans. Now, because the Dugans inhabited a large area, they distinguished the locals here by adding the word gwy, which is ancient Welsh for river. So they became the Dugants who lived on the river, or Degantgwy, which mutated over time into Deganwy. Ah, an information marker. Wish you were here. Deganwy Castle was often on the front line between Welsh and English hostilities. As Henry III rebuilt Deganwy, one of his noblemen wrote a letter home.
His Majesty the King is staying with his army at Gannoch, Deganwy, for the purpose of fortifying a castle which is now built in a most strong position there. We are dwelling round it in tents, employed in watchings, fastings and prayers, and amidst cold and nakedness. In watchings, through fear of the Welsh suddenly attacking us by night. In fastings, on account of a deficiency of provisions, for a farthing loaf now costs 5 pence. In prayers that we may soon return home safe and uninjured. And we are oppressed by cold and nakedness, because our houses are of canvas, and we are without winter clothing.
So, not a lot of fun then. In the distance I've noticed a column of rock, presumably a remnant of the last castle. So I walk over to take a look. Not much of it left, unfortunately. But it's a pretty good view, though. I'm guessing that most of what's left of the castle is up there. Well, we can't come this far and not go up there, can we? This location was considered to be the traditional seat of the 6th century chieftain Maelgwyn Gwynedd, and it changed hands many times in the ensuing centuries. The last castle to stand here was built by the English invader King Henry III, but it was soon taken by Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, who destroyed it to prevent its use by the advancing Edward I. And here we are on the top. Was Susan right about the view? Well, let's take a look around. We can see Conwy there on the far bank of the Aber Conwy, with Deganwy below us and the mountains of Eryri in the distance. Penmaen Mawr is there jutting into the sea, and behind it on the horizon is Ynys Môn, or Anglesey. Coming into view from the east is a Gogarth, or the Great Orme, with Llandudno nestling at its feet. A number of fortifications were built on this site, the last one being built by King Edward III of England, but it was razed to the ground by Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, Prince of Wales, in 1286. Now this was no tiny fort. The castle covered not only this hill, but also that hill next door, and this saddle of land in between. This illustration gives us some idea of how the castle may have looked. And yet, when you look around for the remains of this castle, there's not a lot to see. Just a few bundles of rock here and there. The biggest chunks I could find were this bit of wall here in the saddle, and what looks like the remains of a tower on the seaward side cliff of the hill. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and share. It really helps. Diolch. So if there was such a big castle here once upon a time, why is there nothing left now but these little tufts of stone and brickwork? I mean, where's it gone? What's happened to the stuff? Well, the story goes that in around 1283, King Edward I, or Longshanks as he was called, probably because he had long shanks, I don't know, he was deciding to build a fortification, a ring of steel as he called it, a series of castles to subdue the Welsh. He was going to build them all around Wales, and he wanted one here. and he came to check out this castle, which he thought was in a very good defensive position, but was open to besiegement because it had no water supply of its own, and all other lines of supply were open to bandits and very hard to defend. So instead of building the castle here, he basically pinched all the stones, took them away, and built his castle over there. Conwy Castle. So if you're looking for a pleasant walk with a stunning view at the end, you could do a lot worse than Castell Deganwy. Well, that's all for this video. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, hwyl fawr i chi.